But for more on today's primary and what's at stake for the candidates, VOA's national correspondent Jim Malone joins us live from Manchester, New Hampshire. Jim, for which candidate is the New Hampshire a make or break state?
I would say at this point, Vincent, that you're looking at the three Republican governors really need to perform well here in New Hampshire. It's a more moderate state. There's a lot of independent voters. So consider former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and John Kasich, the governor of Ohio. All of them looking to break out here, but there's lots of competition. Don't forget Ted Cruz, who won the Iowa caucuses, and Marco Rubio, who was surging here in New Hampshire behind Donald Trump, but then had a rough debate the other night. So the crowded Republican field is something we hope will get sorted out a bit tonight, but you know what? I wouldn't bet on it.
We did mention that a big turnout was expected. How do you describe it?
Yeah, the early indications are that the turnout is pretty strong here. The Secretary of State for New Hampshire is expecting well over 500,000 people to turn out in this state. It's a tradition for people to get out and vote in the primary. It's also a tradition for people to show up at the last minute and make a decision right in the voting booth. And they can register to vote in either primary at the last minute as well. That's why, even though we have a lot of polling in New Hampshire that shows Bernie Sanders ahead on the Democratic side and Donald Trump on the Republican, there's a lot of uncertainty here in New Hampshire about what the outcome will be. It makes for great political sport. And also, we should note, New Hampshire has a critical role in our election process. Usually the people who do well here go on to be very competitive for their party nominations.
Regardless of that, James, some of our viewers have asked me, could somebody lose so miserably but still move on and end up winning the elections?
Well, absolutely, and we've seen that before. I mean, John McCain won here in 2000, but George W. Bush won the Republican nomination and the presidency. So it's not always that New Hampshire winners go on to win either the nomination or the presidency, for that fact. But it usually is a key test, and what it may do is reset the race. You may see several contenders, if they don't do well here in New Hampshire, decide to drop out shortly thereafter before the race heads on to South Carolina to the south and, of course, to Nevada in the west. So we'll break away here from the Northeast, and there'll be more tests to come for all the candidates in both parties.
Now, very quickly, is it a little more easier or even more exciting for the Democratic Party now that they're just talking about two contenders?
Well, it's easier, but you know what? The strains are showing there's a lot of tension there. I think some Democrats are nervous about this. Hillary Clinton wants to get close to Bernie Sanders here. She feels she'll have a better shot in South Carolina. But the Democratic race has become tense, and former President Bill Clinton has become a part of that.
Well, Jim, thank you very much for your insights. We look forward to talking to you again. That's VOA's national correspondent reporting live from Manchester, New Hampshire.